this module, when challenges arise, finding a new way, no need to fight, we'll look at all of that. Challenges are a natural part of life. If we are taking best care of ourselves, living the intimate life of Into Me I See, we will more gently weather the surprises life sends our way. We can remember that this too shall pass, while we patiently and lovingly seek to see the best way to move forward with whatever life has presented. Yes, there are times of not knowing. There are times when we may feel stuck. When that happens, we can still trust that we are cared for, and the unfolding of what is to come will arrive in its right time. A life well lived usually has a gentle rhythm to it. The rhythm in a relationship between two loving, committed partners includes two lives lived independently, with each continuing to explore Into Me I See, filling their cups by pursuing and fulfilling their dreams, and two lives lived together, consistently being gentle with one another and nurturing their relationship through relationship traditions and filling the relationship cup. Sometimes, even with our best efforts, we may become off-kilter as individuals or as a couple. The balance between fulfilling our individual lives and nurturing our relationship may go awry. We may also find that the pain one of us or each of us carries into the relationship is so great that it continues to surface and create disharmony between us. These times may happen in any relationship. Perhaps we have been in a relationship for some time, and by now we are becoming aware that each of us has, quote-unquote, unfinished business from the past. Perhaps so much emotional hurt has surfaced in the relationship that it is difficult, if not nearly impossible, to imagine that the pain can heal. Perhaps we can't imagine that we can each heal the past and create a passionate, loving, harmonious relationship again. May I ask this? Please, may we envision a true and lasting companionship with our beloved. May we stay. Most of us begin our relationships not consciously knowing we'll need to deal with our emotional wounds. We meet our new beloved. They see us as beautiful, charming, funny, fascinating. We see them that way too. And we both love being appreciated. We each hope we can forget that we've been hurt in the past. We hope that the joy of this new relationship will wash away the hurt of the past without our having to do anything about it at all. We'll never have to think about it or feel the hurt again. Both people hope that. We begin the relationship and something happens. We begin to touch into one another's emotional wounds. When that happens, it's not uncommon for us to think that our partner hurts us by their inconsiderate words and actions. What seems more true to me is that the wounds are already there and the hurt is inside us. When we're in relationship, it is inevitable that we push each other's buttons, but this happens only as long as those buttons exist. When the wounds heal, the buttons disappear. The last thing we want to do is to hurt one another. It's not uncommon for a partner to know exactly where their beloved's emotional wounds are and to avoid touching them with all their might. If the wounds exist, however, there is no way not to touch them. When we commit ourselves to an ongoing day in and day out loving relationship, we promise to stay. Through our commitment, we are saying that we will be the one who will love our partner enough to walk through the healing time, no matter how long it takes. We can say to one another, I promise that, like your guardian angel, I will lift my wing so that you will have a sanctuary in which you can do your healing. I will stay by your side while you heal. What a gift it is to have one person on this earth willing to accompany us on the journey to our true selves. Can we be fully who we are in our hearts without becoming willing to heal? Amazing but true. Until we do what it takes to go inside, discover, and allow those things which cause us pain to come to the surface and heal, those very things come between us and our loving relationships and bind us to the sadness of the past. In our lives, when wounds are activated, and often both partners have their wounds touched at the same time, we can go apart, we can look, then we can keep looking. When we see in the light of day the evidence of our wounds and our behavior toward one another, or in our thoughts and feelings, we can go apart and stay with our feelings, follow them back to their source. Consider this, the sacred covenant. Our wounds will not magically disappear on their own. Ignoring them will only continue for us to feel the pain. It will not make them better. In fact, the longer we wait, the more they influence our lives. To stop interfering with our intimate relationships, our emotional wounds must be faced and felt. It is in feeling them that they heal. Most of us would do anything we could not to hurt our partner. We do our best to be kind and gentle with each other. Sometimes hurt happens. With the understanding that we each have wounds that need our loving attention to heal, it's easier to acknowledge our part in any hurt either of us feels. We can realize we are each doing the best we can, and that active wounds become triggered no matter how hard we try not to activate them. We do our best, and we make mistakes. In a quick moment, we say something we wish we could take back. Something our partner says wakes up the pain in us, and we lash out. These are a natural part of being human. It seems to me both funny and sad that humans are the only creatures who punish themselves 1,000 times for one mistake. Being kind to ourselves and our partner as we go through the sometimes long process of healing can be a part of the sweetness of being in relationship. We forgive one another. We forgive ourselves. We continue to do our work. So our tie to the regrets of the past will be broken as we deal with the old wounds. I know of no other way to be free to live lives we love. Here is an essential point. No one has the right to dump their pain on anyone else. Let's try a new way. We are each the responsible party in our lives. We are each responsible for our healing and for how we treat one another. We can do the work to allow our wounds to heal. We can continue the joyful practice of falling in love with ourselves. Then we're someone who becomes increasingly able to be available to our partner. Of course, in the dynamic, fluid atmosphere of an intimate relationship, it is inevitable that we will sometimes lose our way and shift our focus from ourselves and our healing onto our partner. We may become aware of this only when the energy between us has risen. When we realize we have been dumping our pain on our partner, it isn't uncommon for us to do one of two things. Either we shift the dumping back onto ourselves and go straight into self-hatred, wallowing in misery and self-loathing, or we may use the "I'm out of here" method of dealing with problems. Obviously, this is not the partner for me. I'll find the right person, then I'll be happy. The truth is, as I see it, that walking away from our current relationship will not heal us. Until we face ourselves and heal, we will carry our wounds with us no matter how the external circumstances change. Gently, using the ideas in this course and truly taking small steps, we can begin living a life we will love. We have a great good chance of building and enjoying a healthy lifelong relationship. Beginning is all that's called for, and then we keep going. In order to give ourselves and our partner the space in which to heal the past, we can remind ourselves that blaming ourselves or our partner only exacerbates the problem and keeps us from moving forward. All we've done is to make mistakes, and mistakes are invitations for us to try something different. There's no need to wallow in our mistakes or to hate ourselves for making them. What a glory a relationship can be. There is nothing to limit it except our perception. We see things as we do. When we perceive one way, we may have no idea we have a choice to see things differently. There may be another way, but we don't know that it exists. Time goes by. A new thought comes. Everything can change with perception. If we decide to try something different when emotions come up, it's easy to make agreements about how we're going to approach those situations now. There is a helpful practice when emotions are running high. It's called going apart for a time. If our partners say or do something which touches one of our wounds, it is respectful to say, I am going to spend some time with my feelings. That is helpful to both of us. It alerts our partners that we are taking responsibility for our feelings. It lets them know we are not interested in dumping. By stating clearly what we are going to do, we claim our psychic space to have time with ourselves that we need. Otherwise, as we make our exit to a quiet space where we can do our work, we may find our partners following us in frustration. When we clearly state what we are doing for ourselves, my feelings are up, I'm going to spend some time by myself, our partners can relax knowing our going off isn't about them. Of course, there are times this isn't necessary. Our feelings may come up while we're listening to the radio, while we're at work or reading the newspaper, after we're in bed and drifting off to sleep. Then we don't need to tell our partners what we're doing. Staying with our feelings is something we seek solitude for. How we craft that solitude will depend on us and our situation. No one pays attention to their inner world all the time. Even if we try to stay alert to the cues from inside, we still may find ourselves missing them often enough. When that happens, we may end up dumping our feelings on our partner. Then we can recognize what happened, make amends, and return to our commitment to ourselves. In other words, we take full responsibility not only for our feelings, but also for our words and our behavior. None of us truly wants to hurt anyone, especially our partner who trusts us to respect them and to speak and act with kindness. To minimize times when we speak or act unkindly, we do our best to be vigilant in self-care in our self-healing work. When we pay attention to ourselves and stay in touch with our inner life, it's not long before it becomes habit to stop and be with our emotions when they arise. In my own experience and in working with people, it is not surprising to find that there are some core wounds that come up again and again. Ah, there you are, old friend, we can say. And then we can stay with our quote-unquote friend, feel what's going on, listen in, and some of that hurt disappears. It's a process. After we've gone apart and done our work, the next thing is coming back together with our partner to share the victory. What insight did I gain while spending time with myself? What have I seen? What has come to light? Often, people report that staying with feelings they think are only up due to the current situation brings a surprising tie-in with childhood wounding and even trauma. As these revelations occur and we stay with our feelings as they arise, healing does take place. Over time, little by little, the wounds of the past, even the distant past, heal and disappear. A funny thing often happens when our beloved tells us that they are going to spend some time with their feelings. We may find ourselves waking up to ourselves. We may find ourselves thinking, good idea, what's up with me? If intimacy means seeing into our partner and letting our partner see into us, the result of staying with our feelings and then sharing what we have discovered is that greater intimacy grows all the time. With each passing day, respect grows. We grow into taking responsibility for our feelings rather than dumping them on each other or burying them deeper in ourselves. We use peaceful words. Something's up for me. I'm going to spend some time with my feelings. We come back together to share what we have been discovering on the journey through the feelings brought up by hurt from the past. We each make our way into our inner landscape. We uncover the wounds inflicted in the distant past. We attend to them lovingly and they heal, a little at a time. Then we come back to our partner and share the tenderness which surrounds the healing process. It is essential that we are a safe friend with whom our partner can share this delicate, intimate process of healing. And it is essential that we find that our partner is also a safe friend. When we see our partner as our true companion through the long process of healing, this is beautiful. Of course, we may stay with our feelings and keep our own counsel about what we find and what's healing for us. We don't have to share everything with our partner. The intimacy of our interior life is ours to share or not, as we wish. At the same time, sharing may deepen illumination and hasten healing. To share or not as we go along on this healing journey of life is ours to choose. Sometimes there's no way around it. Conflict may arise. We may be used to fighting, but here we are, and I'd like to offer us another way to handle conflict. When something comes up that could stir conflict, honestly, there's no need to fight. Fighting doesn't take us anywhere. In fact, it just keeps the air stirred up until both people give up, or until one person throws their weight around enough that the other person gives up. Fighting is not about winning against an enemy. There are no enemies here. There are just two innocent people with wounds trying yet another way that doesn't work. What can we do instead of fighting? We can pay close attention to the rising and falling of emotion in ourselves. Our partner says or does something that brings our feelings to the surface. We may feel hurt or afraid or sad, and we may quickly cover those tender feelings with anger. Anger is the emotion most often pasted on top of more tender feelings, feelings which lead to our place of feeling vulnerable and childlike. Instead of indulging the anger we've pasted on top of our vulnerability, we can choose to go apart from our partner. We can retreat into our sanctuary space and feel our feelings. Some couples don't have room for each to have separate space. This does not mean that we necessarily need a room of our own. We can create space for ourselves psychically as well as physically, but we must have private space for ourselves. Perhaps we'll take a walk in the woods, sit on a hilltop overlooking the town, retreat to our bed, or lie under an umbrella on the beach. The important thing is that when our emotions are running high, it means we have some personal unfinished business to attend to. In order to do that, we choose time alone. It's simple. We go apart from our partner and feel our feelings. We stay with our feelings. We don't try to put them off on anyone else. We stop trying to pretend someone else made us feel the way we do. We own our feelings. We take responsibility for having them. We look within and see where they came from, finding that we have feelings which arise from wounds incurred in the past is an intimate experience. It's good. It means that we have a chance to heal so that we can live free from the shadow of the past. We can step out into the present sunlight and be who we are today without a bunch of unfinished hurt between us and living now. We can see how going apart for a time to sit with our feelings, especially in times of conflict, will lead to a more peaceful resolution. Let's look deeper at the practice of going apart and then inviting truth in. It is not surprising that we may sometimes need a practice of reconciliation. The next module offers one from Hawaii.